Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here today to discuss some FIFA 15, the True Brit wishlist. Now, I did the exact same video for PES 2015, so it's time to do the exact same thing for FIFA 15. We're going to talk about what I want to see, improvements, enhancements, and all that fun jazz. So, we've got the trailer in the background running right now, and then we're going to be showing some FIFA 14 Ultimate Team gameplay, snippets and stuff. So there is no actual FIFA 15 gameplay. It hasn't been shown yet, guys. So unfortunately, I can't show any. So let's get that out of the way before we get things rolling. So, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see. FIFA 15 is coming out in September, a couple of months away. And EA have discussed and talked about a few things they're going to be adding. They haven't talked about everything, obviously, for reasons that will keep things secretive and, keep people excited for the game. So, anyway, first thing I want to see, and I said exact same thing for PES, is dynamic weather. And I think it would be massive if they added it correctly and not just for show, which I mean, when I say that, I'm saying that it actually affects the gameplay. When I say dynamic weather, I'm talking about it's sunny when you start, it starts drizzling, and then it's raining. Or it's raining when you start, stops raining a little bit half-time, and then the sun comes out. And that can affect gameplay. It can mean that players now slide all over the place. The ball's slipping across, the grass when it's rainy. The keepers are having a hard time controlling it. Players' shirts are getting wet. The shorts are getting wet. The face is wet. And then in the sun, they start sweating. And conditions are different. The ball doesn't move quite as quick. And also maybe have the grass. I know PES were adding this with the length of the turf. That would be cool if they added something like that. Shorter grass, easier to play, longer grass, the ball's going to be moving, just a little bit stiffer and less. So dynamic weather for me would be a must, and we might have to wait a couple of years though before we see anything dramatic. And I'm not just talking about night and day, I'm talking about weather effects. Alright, next up, the transfer system, career mode, the scouting system that they added last year, I thought was a good idea, but it wasn't implemented greatly. It took a lot of effort. The search function was dumbed down a lot. You couldn't search for specific positions. I had a hard time of trying to find just forwards, like top quality forwards, you couldn't find them. You had to type in individual names. If I wanted to find Messi or any forwards from Barcelona, I'd have to type in Barcelona. I'd have to search through the whole team. It was long, it was annoying, and it has to be done far easier, which it was in FIFA 13. So why they changed that, no idea. You also have to... You can't see half the stats for the scouting system, if you guys remember that. You have to scout them, and then it shows you a few stats, then you got to scout them more, which, yeah, I understand what EA are trying to do. They're trying to make you be more like a manager where you go and watch a player and you scout them and you see what they're like. But this is a video game. This isn't real life. Let's get the stats shown so we can see what players we want, compare them, buy them, transfer them, sell them, and get on with it. So, for me, the transfer system, the Scout Global system, I think they're going to improve it. I think they're going to change it. They're not going to get rid of it because it was a good idea. But just needs to be done a little bit better. Next up, AI. Let's talk about the wonderful FIFA AI on Legendary. I'm not talking about anything really less because that's the only difficulty I really play on. I've played on World Class, but Legendary ultimately is what I'm talking about. And it's the feeling of you're playing a CPU. I don't want to feel like I'm playing the computer. I want to feel like I'm playing a human. I want them to make mistakes. I want them to play some nice football, score some goals from long range, short range, headers, volleys, you name it. But on Legendary this year, it becomes tedious. It becomes annoying when you're playing crappy teams and they're still playing ridiculously well because it's on Legendary. You can't get the ball off them. They don't lose the ball. A prime example, if you guys haven't seen the World Cup final between France and Belgium that I have on my channel, and I won't ruin the score, but I couldn't get the ball off them. I was France and Belgium were playing like they were some superhuman team on steroids. Now, this Belgian side is a young team. They're not really experienced. They shouldn't be playing a World Cup final like that. Players will be nervy. They wouldn't be playing every pass 100%, but I couldn't get the ball off them. And that was frustrating and annoying, unrealistic. And I know FIFA are trying to go on this more realistic route. But if they are, then they need to sort the AI out and make them more human-like. And that moves me on to my next point about better team tactics. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about teams playing like they really do in real life. Arsenal play short, precise, intricate football. They want to try and walk the ball in the net. Stoke City play the long ball forward. You know, they look for Crouch, on the head, back of the net. Real Madrid play that quick counter-attacking with Bale and Ronaldo. That's what I'm talking about when I say team tactics, which just hasn't been seen on FIFA. And that all stems to custom tactics. They need to have some sort of a team at EA that just sit down and they tweak the custom tactics to play like their real-life counterparts. It would make the game far more interesting, more fun. It would feel like you're playing against actual real-life human, opponents. So that's something I'd love to see. And another reason as well is the likes of Barnet, and this comes back to the point I just made about Legendary. I don't want to be in the FA Cup final, FA Cup, playing against, not final, because Barnet aren't going to get in the final, but the FA Cup first round, second round, playing Barnet. And why is Barnet playing like Barcelona? Ridiculous. Just because it's on Legendary, you suddenly ramp the difficulty up. Shouldn't be the case. So they need to sort that out as well. Next up, competitions feeling like competitions. And what I mean by that is the league feels like you're playing a league game. You play the league every single week, no problem. But then if you're in the Champions League, and I know they don't have the Champions League, but Champions Cup, as they call it, the Euro League, the FA Cup, it feels like you're in a cup. If you're in the FA Cup first round, there's not going to be that many supporters, so forth. If you move into the FA Cup final, there's going to be a bunch of them. They need to add something like that so you feel like you're in a final. You feel like you're in a semi-final of the Champions League. It's nervous, it's intense. You're sitting there on the edge of your seat getting ready for this game. The crowd is buzzing. And especially I'd love to see if you're away from home. It's Man United travelling away against Barcelona at the Nou Camp. It's the semi-final of the Champions League. You're Man United and you're getting booed all over the place. I would love to hear that. You got the surround sound going. It would be great. Fantastic. Something that they could add. Why not? Players, diving around as well would be nice. Neymar, we know he's always on the floor. If he kind of played like that, it would be kind of funny. But really, they've just got to make competitions feel more like a competition. Because I honestly cannot tell the difference between a Champions League game in FIFA 14 and a league game. And it shouldn't be like that because the Champions League is the biggest tournament out there. So let's sort it out. Alright, next up, career mode enhanced further. So I'm talking about enhancing career mode, basically. Add something different. Maybe you can train your youth team. We have a U20 team, a U18. Maybe you play friendlies. And this way you actually get a chance to play with the youth team because let's be honest, if you're Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, all the big teams, you're not really going to play your youth players because you want to play your best players to try and win the league. Unfortunately, they get left behind and you don't get a chance to really grow them. So it would be nice if you could train them before the game, up their stats and then play some friendlies with the youth team. It would be brilliant, I think, personally. If you guys have played the World Cup game, you know that you can actually train a couple of players before a match, ups their stats, shooting, passing, dribbling and stuff. And that way you've got a little bit of a boost going into the next game. So something like that would be nice to add. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys want to actually see improved in career mode? We know a lot of people play it. It has improved quite a bit from where it was. But what do you guys want to see? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, player models. This is something that, for me, FIFA's struggled with. The debate of PES versus FIFA gameplay-wise is always one, but player models on PES, I feel, look better. They look more normal body-wise. I'm not talking about the face. Forget the face. We're not worrying about that. I'm talking about from the neck down. If you look at people or player models in FIFA, they all have them shoulders like this. They're very bodybuilder-like. It looks like they've been working down the gym every day of the week, lifting some heavy weight, when in actual fact, that's not what footballers do. They have, normally their shoulders are kind of like this, but they're not like that in FIFA. They're down like this, and they look ridiculous, to be honest with you, especially when you see them from behind. And I've always felt that FIFA's player models are a little bit crappy and sort of monkey-ish, so I'm hoping they sort of tweak them. I don't think they will, but you never know. And also, pre-game, talk about that a little bit. when players shake hands. Very robotic, isn't it? It's like this when they shake hands. It looks a little bit silly. So as much as the animations in-game on FIFA are fantastic, I've got no qualms with that. Pre-game and post-game, especially celebrations and that, they look a little bit iffy. So if EA could work on them, it would be all the better. Something also just wanted to add, a stadium editor. How brilliant would it be if FIFA EA could add a stadium editor? I think it'll be fantastic. We know they have a lot of stadiums, and there's no reason why they probably couldn't add a stadium editor. You get some parts from the generic stadiums, and then you can change the seat color, the lighting, the turf, the dugouts. I think it'll be brilliant, and it will also add a whole new element to the game. Now you're going to have, Craven Cottage created, or the Hawthorns or something would be nice. Especially people in the community, they love to make stadiums and all that fun stuff, especially on PES, because we know FIFA doesn't really have a deep edit mode. But enhancing their edit mode further would be nice. I know they have licensing issues, so they can't really change players a whole lot. But I think a stadium editor and stuff like that would be fantastic. And then finally, just to cap this off, nothing too crazy here, but the tactics formation menu. I'm not a huge fan of it. They haven't really changed it since like 08. I don't know when the last time they changed it, but it's just very dull, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you want a player to play right wing, but it says a player's already playing there. So I think the freedom, I like the way PES does it, that you can use the cursor and you can move players, in increments, very, very slight movements. Whereas on FIFA, it's a very tedious process. You've got to go into formation, custom, you've got to edit it, then you've got to do this, and half the time it doesn't save. And so a new formation menu would be nice, just to add something a little bit fresh. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was it. The wish list for FIFA 15, my wish list anyway. There's probably more, thousands of more we can put in, but I think FIFA's doing a pretty good job. But gameplay, obviously, is where it's at. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, what you want to see. Subscribe for some more. But until next time, take care.